Hello students, this is Daffodils poem from Treasure Trove. So this is the question answers of Daffodils. जैसा कि मैंने आपको मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस के अभी जो मैंने वीडियो अपलोड करी है उसमें भी बोला है कि जो इसका क्वेश्चन का पैटर्न है वो चेंज हो सकता है, लेकिन जो आंसर है वो सेम रहेंगे। ठीक है, तो पहला स्पीच देखते हैं उसकी। पहली पोएम है, आई वंडर्ड लोनली एज अ क्लाउड fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Question first. With what does the poet compares himself? The poet compares himself to a cloud which floats lonely over his hills and valleys. Question 2. Why does the poet compares himself to it? Answer. The poet compares himself to a cloud as he says that he was wandering alone and lonely like a cloud which floats over hills and valleys. Question 3. What did the poet saw suddenly? Where did he see them? The poet at once saw a lot of daffodils growing on the bank of lake under the trees. Question 4. Why did the poet call them a crowd? The poet called them a crowd of daffodils because were lot of daffodils growing which were lightly packed. Question 5. Why does the poet calls the daffodils? Question 4. Why did the poet call them a crowd? The poem called them a crowd of daffodil because were lot of daffodil growing in which lightly packed. Okay. Question 5. Why does the poet calls the daffodils a host of golden daffodils? The poet calls daffodils the poet calls the daffodils a host golden daffodils because host is person who entertain other people, so the daffodils were entertaining the poet with their beauty. Question 6. What were the daffodil doing? The daffodil making a fluttering sound and moving in such a way in the breeze that it seemed they were dancing. Stanza 2nd. Continues as the star head is sprightly dance. Question 1st. What is the similarity between the stars and the daffodils? Answer. The golden daffodil which the poet has seen on the bank of the lake under the trees. These daffodils are see many in number, so that the poet compares them to the stars in Milky Way. There are numerous stars in Milky Way which shines brightly in the same way. The daffodils are numerous, dancing with energy, a joy in never-ending line. This is the reason why the poet has compared the daffodils to stars. Question 2. How does the poet describe the number of golden daffodils growing? The poet described the large number of the golden daffodils growing by saying the daffodils grew in never-ending line in the bank of the lake. He says that he saw 10,000 daffodils growing at a glance. Question 3. How is the movement of daffodils described when they move with the breeze? The poet has personified the golden daffodil. He says that they dozed their heads in a energy dance. Question 4th. How is the beauty of golden daffodils described in the extract? The beauty of the golden daffodils are described by comparing them to share in Milky Way. Their movement with breeze is described as if they were tossing their heads in a energetic dance. The poet has described the place, that is the bank of the lake, where they drew in. Stanza third. The waves beside them danced, show to me had brought. Question first. Whom did the daffodils outdo and how? The daffodils outdid the waves in the lake. The daffodils were growing on the bank, Glay Lake. The daffodils danced, expressing joy and energy when the breeze blew over them. The waves were also moving or dancing beside the daffodil. The poet also called the movement of the waves a dancing. The movement of the waves in the of spite 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 of pleasing could not compete with the beauty of daffodils. Question 2. What does poet mean by BB Jocund company? Answer. The poet described the company of the golden daffodils on Jocund company. Jocund company means company of cheerful and light-hearted. He says that the poet could not be anything but happy in such a cheerful and light-hearted company of the daffodils. Question 3. दिख रहा है ना सबको? Question 3. Why does the poet say that he gazed and gazed at the daffodils but thought little? Answer. The poet says that I gazed and gazed but little thought because he was spellbound by the beauty of the daffodils. He was so overcome by the beauty of daffodils that no thought come to his mind. Question 4. What had the sight of the daffodils brought the poet? The sight of the daffodils had brought the poet a wealth of beauty. It had also brought the poet vast amount of happiness. Stanza 4. For eft when of my coach lie and dams with the daffodils. Question first. When does daffodils flash upon the inward eye of the poet? When the author lie on his own thinking, nothing on in a thoughtful mood, then he could see the daffodils in his imagination. Question 2. Explain the far's inward eye. The far's inward eye is referred to the imagination of the poet as he could see the dancing daffodil in his imagination. It was the poet's beautiful memory, and seeing the daffodils in his imagination lifted the spirits of the poet and filled his heart with pleasure. Question 3. What is the poet bliss of solitude? The poet bliss of solitude, happiness at being alone, was that he could see in his imagination the beauty side of daffodils glowing on the bank of the lake. Question 4. What effect does seeing daffodils in his imagination have the poet? Answer. So, question number 4th answer. Seeing daffodils in his imagination lift the spirit of the poet. He feels extremely happy. His heart fills up with the pleasure and start dancing with the daffodils. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, तो आज की वीडियो ये डैफोडिल्स के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स की थी, जो कि मैंने करा दिया आपको. आप चाहे तो स्क्रीनशॉट ले सकते हैं. दिस इज द क्वेश्चंस. Some are in this page. Some are in this page. And this. And some are in this page. स्टूडेंट्स अच्छे से लर्न करके जाइएगा अपने एग्ज़ाम्स में, जिनके एग्ज़ाम्स अभी नहीं हुए। मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूँ, आपको ये क्वेश्चंस है ना, ये घुमा फिरा के दे देंगे, लेकिन जो आंसर है वो सेम रहेगा। ओके स्टूडेंट्स, तो आज के लिए इतना ही, चलिए एंड करते हैं, और प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब करिएगा मेरे चैनल को। ओके गाइस, बाय।